Throne and Liberty is coming to be one of the biggest MMORPGs of 2024. Throne and Liberty has by far been consuming my time with just how good it is and how beautiful the game looks. Now, with all that being said, if you already know by the title of this video, I'm going to be sharing my biggest tips, tricks, and basically be giving you the biggest beginner's guide on Throne and Liberty, because I do understand with being an MMORPG, I understand how confusing it is, like as a new player hopping into this game and having too many things to be mindful of and trying to understand what's going on, but also not trying to mess up yourself in the future. So we're going to cover some of the general and easy things to get you started and help you level up quickly in the game. Alright y'all, honestly the quickest way to level up in this game is going to be story questing. Focus as much as you can on the story quest, use your codex, and completing it, you will see that leveling up is literally just that simple. Now, there are going to be times through that where you're gapped, meaning like you can't progress on any further in the story quest until you reach a certain level. Don't worry, don't trip, it's still easy. And you'll notice throughout this video, the tips that I do give you essentially are going to be ones that is going to also help you not only level up your gear, but gain you the XP that you need to do and not ridiculously farm for no reason. Okay, let's talk about leveling up your gear. Y'all, please make sure you're leveling up your gear as you are progressing in the storyline as well. So, level up your gear, and once you get to a level 6, I highly recommend taking that and transferring it into a blue item if you have one. If not, you can obtain one by doing and utilizing lithographs, which we will then talk about a little bit later. To transfer your items, unequip the item that you want to transfer. Go into your equipment enchanting, click on the item that you want that item to be transferred to. Then, boom, you can see the stat difference between the two items, right? So we're transferring my level 6 into my blue, which now is a level 3. Okay, so we're going to talk about Amitois now. With all the gear upgrades and craftables that you're going to need, your Amitoi are going to be ones that come in clutch essentially, because they are able to go out on expeditions and essentially help you get your items. If you see in the top right hand corner, you will see that my Amitois just came back from an expedition. You can always access your Amitois too in your hotbar at the bottom right, and it will take you to your Amitoi house. Once you are in your Amitoi house, you'll see this little map. Go up to the map and you'll be able to access your Amitoi's explorations or expeditions, right? So essentially you'll see at the bottom the expected rewards when you do send them out on an expedition. There's multiple ways that you can send them out, which is 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, and or 8 hours. I essentially have just been doing 8 hours. Feel free to let me know in the comment section below if you see any difference between 1, 2, 4, and 8 hour expeditions. I would love to know. You also will get more Amitois as you level up throughout your expedition levels. Now, some good ways to get gear is going to be your secret dungeons. Your secret dungeons essentially give you an opportunity basically to go one-on-one with another boss. Each level provides you with some good resources and rewards that is going to help you and aid you when it comes to leveling up. Now you have your co-op dungeons, which is another great way to get materials or loot, right? You do these dungeons with a party though. You can look and it's going to be, there's different rewards per level that you do. You get a chance at getting the rewards in the dungeon. I would say just be mindful of the dimensional contract tokens, as you only get 660 a day. And as you level up more in the co-op dungeons, it will require more to redeem the loot. So hopefully you guys have been doing the battle pass as well. You don't have to purchase the battle pass. It's up to you. Spend your money how you want to spend it. I haven't bought it yet, so there's that. But you do get some cool mats, cool rewards that's going to just help you in leveling up your gear. So make sure you're checking your battle pass. You're going ahead and claiming all your points to then redeem it. Another spot that you should be checking to get your loot and materials is your leveling log. Go to leveling log. It's 1 through 50. Essentially what we're trying to do is get to 50. Make sure you claim all your rewards. You get dope mats. That's going to help you level up once again, make sure you're checking your leveling log. Okay, so now let's talk about your lithographs. Your lithograph is what's going to let you use unwanted armor, equipment, accessories, or whatever gear you have that you're not using and essentially trade them for other materials or better ones. You can't redeem them until they're fully complete, but just be mindful when you are fulfilling your lithographs that you're not using the items that you currently have equipped, as it will take it from you. To prevent that, make sure that you are locking your items. Okay, now let's talk about contracts. It's very important to do your contracts. Go up to your contract merchant and get them done, as they're able to give you materials, lithographs, and training do, which is going to help you with your mastery points on your weapon, which we'll talk about in a second. But as you can see, you get a good amount of XP, coins, and materials. And now just pay attention to the contracts that you're redeeming and try to keep them in the same area just to make it easier. Every day you get 10 contract rights, so keep that in mind. Now let's talk about your weapons. Once again, upgrade your weapons as you're leveling up. Once you get it to 6 or greater, but depending on which level you're in, go ahead and transfer it over to the next highest tier, whether that is blue. Now another thing I wanted to point out to you guys that you probably have in your inventory right now is this Stellar Light. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think I'm saying it right. Essentially, it gives you that 10% weapon damage, and you get this by doing your quests. Like, you get it by doing co-op dungeons, everything, all that good stuff. So like I said, as you progress onto the game, you get it. However, just make sure that when you're equipping it, equip it to both weapons. You have to do your first weapon and your second weapon, so that way both weapons get that buff. Okay, so remember we got the training due from the contracts that I kept telling you guys to do? Yeah. So now please keep in mind that these, as you can tell, they are on a 24-hour time limit. So as soon as you get them, use them, period. Once you completed your contracts, go ahead, use them, apply them to your weapon, which is gonna give you the leveling skill to get your mastery points. So I'm gonna use them, max them out, and we're gonna go over to our weapons, our skills. Go over to our weapons. As you can see right here, I have a level 5 right now currently, right? And it'll show you all the levels. If you do have different weapons and you're leveling them up, whatever, it'll show them to you. But now you have your mastery points. Now this will give you opportunity to give your weapon another buff. Right now I'm focusing on damage, so I'm doing critical and I'm doing range hit chance. That's me, my personal build essentially. But make sure you guys are using your training due. Use your training due to then get mastery points to then unlock a mastery level. Simple. Okay, so now your skills. They're important when it comes to combat and PvP and PvE. If you are completely newbie when it comes to MMOs, I would highly suggest you play around with your skills to see what skills best fits you and your playstyle. Same thing is going to apply. Upgrade your skills. Now, I'm going to tell you to make sure you like the skills that you're doing. And this is where I'm going to tell you do your research on your build, or really play the game to understand what skills match with what are the best combos to use, which skills is going to stack, all that stuff. So that way, essentially you're not wasting resources when you are leveling up your skills, and so on and so forth. Let's talk about gathering. As you run around the world, you will notice some gatherable items. I strongly suggest taking those up, as it will help later on when it comes to crafting for materials. So gather everything. Don't let no herb, no wood, no stone go untouched. All right, now we got fishing. Fishing, in my opinion, is pretty important because of the meals that you can make with it, okay? So as you progress through the storyline, you're going to get a fishing rod. To fish, you're going to need bait. When you get bait, and I'll show you where to get it from. When you get bait, you're going to go ahead and equip the bait to your fishing rod. Once it is equipped, you are going to essentially just cast your line out. Once you cast the line out, you can go ahead and get to fishing. Now, I do recommend, when it comes to fishing, bro, you gotta fish in the opposite direction that the fish is pulling you. So, boom. I gotta boom to the left. To the right. Dang, I don't know my left and right. Now, I gotta boom to the left. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially just how you fish until the red bar comes down, and then you're good. Now, if for whatever reason you end up losing your fishing rod, or like I said, you need that bait, come to your contract coin merchant. Once again, contracts are important, y'all. Contracts are important. You can buy a fishing rod and you can buy a fishing bait chest. Okay, you get one fishing bait chest a day. So I recommend, even if you're not using it, maybe just buy a fishing bait chest, right? Now we got the cooking. Now, if you see a cooking oven, just go up to it and you'll see all the recipes and everything like that you can cook. Now, do you see why we was out there gathering materials and sending our Amitois to work? This is why, in my opinion. Cooking allows you to give yourself buffs depending on the meal, and you can gather and or purchase some materials through that Sunrise merchant. I honestly recommend on just maxing out the daily limits on the materials when it does come to the Sunrise merchants. But as you can see, you can go through and each meal can give you a different buff. One is particular to armor, one is particular to attack, and so on and so forth. I can honestly say that one of my favorite things to do in the games are events, and it's important. Make sure you're looking at some of the events that are going on as they go along with your codex, but this is where you can check out the world bosses and any of the events that are currently going on or about to happen. You have a conflict zone. Don't go here if you are a beginner. You gonna get smoked because this is where PvP happen. You're not ready for that. Go to this peace area, okay? Go to the peace area and do the world bosses and be a good MMO community and tear that man up. But as you can see, you get different loot, which it's all RNG, y'all. You get different loot when it comes to the world bosses, but there are other events like the wolf hunting one. Once again, you can see it all in your map under the event table. All right, y'all. So let's talk about a guild. It's not a requirement whatsoever. If you have the opportunity to join one, though, join one because there are perks. I would recommend getting in a guild if you're interested in joining a guild. Look within the chat. There's a lot of people that give out like, oh, I'm looking for a guild, etc., 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 whatever the case may be. Well, once again, it's not a requirement. It's just good because being in a guild, you do have perks. Okay, your stat points. Your stat points are important. I feel like I keep saying that everything's important, right? But your stat points are important to your build. Once again, your stat points are important to your build. What my stat points are currently may not be your stat points if you're running like a staff and dagger or staff and wand. Like, we will not have the same allocates to go to your stat points. But as you continue on in the storyline, right, and do your questing and all that good stuff, you're going to get stat points. Use them. Once again, research your build if you're still new and you don't know what you're doing, or just trial and error, whatever works for you, because you can reset your stat points. But use your stat points and it will tell you as you're increasing your stat points what's going to change, what affects what. Once you get to 30 though, your stat points, it takes 2 to go up. So just keep that in mind as well, okay? So it takes 2 to go up. Now, another good thing that people are utilizing is the auction house, right? So you can be free to play. You can also get lucent though through the auction house. You can see that people list their items for sale for lucent. Lucent is basically the in-game currency of Throne and Liberty, okay? So let's say you get a nice rare weapon or whatever. You can then take that weapon or lithograph. It doesn't matter, right? Accessories, as you can see, you can take that and put it up for auction to sell on the market, where somebody could then buy that item for lucent. So this is where people were talking about this is essentially like how the pay to win is. I'm not getting into that. And also, you guys, there are a lot of farming methods for lucent out there. Look into it. So there is ways for you to go ahead and get and maximize and get some good lucent while being a free-to-play player. Well, that's all I got. That's just about it for the video. I hope everyone has enjoyed and you're enjoying playing Throne and Liberty. If you want more tips and tricks or even a breakdown of my current longbow and dagger build, leave a comment below, and don't forget to please like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Throne and Liberty content just like this.